Investing in international medical cannabis and hemp companies. Learn about current and future trends in medical cannabis, hemp, and adult use cannabis markets globally. Discover the opportunities and challenges associated with an investment in these markets. We will discuss specifics on proper licensure, questions to ask prior to investment, and expected return on investment capital. CEO of U.S. Cannabis Pharmaceutical Research and Development LLC, from the United States of America, Michael Patterson.
Well, hey, can everybody hear me okay? Could you share screen? I hope you guys are there. Definitely happy to be here. Again, I'm Michael Patterson, coming live from Florida, United States. It's midnight here. It's about noon there, I guess, in Thailand, and definitely excited to be talking to everybody. This is exactly where I'd want to be. Anywhere in the world is right here, right now, talking to you guys. So a little bit about international trade and hemp of cannabis and minor cannabinoids. We'll talk a little bit about investment too. So a little bit about me. I think it's important when you start looking into the industry and looking to back different companies, you need to understand what people's backgrounds are, because the people who nobody enters this business from the beginning, as we all know, it's so new. So my background comes from healthcare. I've been in different types of healthcare here in the United States for over 27 years. I've run pharmacies, I've run laboratories, I've run nursing homes. I'm definitely used to a lot of regulation and a lot of litigation. And cannabis is right now, there's a lot of regulation and it keeps increasing, and there's a lot of litigation. So I've done a lot of different experience in doing educational seminars for a lot of law enforcement here in the United States, worked directly with the DEA as well as the FBI and state legislatures to educate them on how this needs to change. Some of the things that I'm involved in, I do a lot of writing. I write for the American Journal of Endocannabinoid Medicine, which is the world's first peer-reviewed endocannabinoid science journal. I write for groups in Florida here at Orlando Medical News, and I do some consulting globally through a company called GLG. So some of the things that my company does, we do a lot of strategic advising in this industry right now. It's growing extremely rapidly, and the laws and regulations change a lot. Thomas's report that we just saw was very good on that. We do a lot of work with different corporations, federal, state, and local, and private companies. We do a lot of work with private companies, partnerships, joint ventures, a lot of different types of things that we do, and we do a lot of writing of laws as well. We are currently working on a lot of major projects, one of which is bringing 400 million in hemp and cannabis research zones here to the United States. And we want to bring in people from all over the world to do massive research on this plant, hemp and cannabis. So we really feel we need to have this Silicon Valley style facilities here in the U.S. to facilitate this. We've done a lot of seminars across the United States and across the world. And we do a lot of licensing here in the States for the corporate compliance program for a group of 6 dispensaries in the Philadelphia region. And we've won licenses, scored licenses, 9 out of 10 licenses here in the United States in different states. So some of the clients that we work with, MGMC and UBS. MGMC is a company that we're working with right now, and I'm part of. We currently have operations in Lesotho. It's a little country inside of South Africa, as well as working with partners to do cultivation processing in South Africa. We were the first company to ever get product out of Lesotho and export cannabis product, THC and CBD. We exported it to Australia, and we also exported to Germany. UBS, we worked with UBS to do a global educational seminar. It was the first of its kind where they actually allowed cannabis analysts to come speak, and I was lucky enough to go. So you can see how everything's kind of coming together here in the cannabis space. And then Paytrax down there at the bottom corner, we'll get into that in a little bit, is a cryptocurrency. And also we've worked with American tribes, the Confederated Tribes, the Osage Nation, and as well as Colville Nation. And then I'm the NASDAQ advisor for Acres Bio. So a little bit about our clients. We have mentioned MGMC Pharma selling EU GMP products. Remember, that's good manufacturing practices. That's pretty much the global standard. And it's exciting. We just came to an agreement on a vaccine deal, COVID vaccine, through a COVID vaccine manufacturer in Italy to sell up to 1 billion doses and actually bring African manufacturing of COVID vaccines to Africa. So it's extremely exciting. We never would have been able to do that unless we were involved in the cannabis space. So I feel like we are proof that cannabis can actually impact the world outside of just the plants and actually affect other areas of pharmaceuticals, which is great. And then Patrax at the bottom there, it is the first ever SEC approved cryptocurrency token that is approved for any use case. And so we plan to launch it in February of next year. And right now it's exciting because we're currently working with we're going to launch it in Oklahoma in the medical cannabis arena or medical cannabis industry, because cannabis sales and banking is a tremendous difficulty there. We're having a lot of difficulty in dealing with crime in Oklahoma because, as Thomas was saying, in the U.S., every state is like a different country when it comes to cannabis law. So Oklahoma is very loose in their laws, and now they're paying the price because they're having a lot of crime. And so we need to have technology step up to be able to fix that, and that's what Patrax is going to help us do. Some of the partnerships we have all over the world, the one in the bottom left, Integrated Compliance Solutions, the largest merchant processor of cannabis and hemp businesses in the world. They're based in the United States. Parcel in the top right is one of the leading seed to sale program and tracking software programs out of Melbourne, Australia, and they're actually working all over the world. And then Hemp Synergistics in the bottom corner, they make a lot of hemp products for hemp baking, as well as different types of base products in hemp and CBD here in the United States, and they do ship everywhere. A couple definitions we want to get into real quick. Hemp is, remember, as most of the analysts and speakers are saying, less than 0.3%, pretty much globally. As you saw, Europe is a little bit different. Some other countries are a little bit different. But the number one thing to understand is that when you ship hemp, most lab detection equipment in these countries you're shipping to, I don't care if it's Germany or England or Thailand, the lab equipment is typically not sensitive enough in order to pick up the difference between a 0.3 THC and a 0.2 THC. And so that is a big problem, because if you're shipping product, it can get confiscated. We have had product get confiscated. When you're looking to ship product for the first time, don't ship a big load. You want to do a kilogram, a test batch, something, because you're going into these countries, and if the paperwork is not exactly right, then that product can be rejected, or worst case, somebody can get arrested. That's not a fun thing to happen. So keep remembering that. Cannabis is technically anything above 0.3%. As we all know, it's in different forms. CBD, as we talked about, is one of the major compounds there. THC is the thing that everybody says gets you high, but that's the main thing, is the euphoric effect in that. And of course, all the minor cannabinoids are the cannabinoids that don't occur a lot in the plant. Countries where hemp and CBD is legal. This is a map, and it could update tomorrow. So it gives you an idea. And a lot of us are showing maps. The map is starting to fill in on the legal countries, and that's very exciting, where hemp and CBD is legal. Just to give you a little bit of idea on where we are in hemp production here in the United States, about 80,000 acres in 2018. And then we jumped all the way to 285,000 acres in 2019. And as of last year, we actually declined a little bit to about 250,000 acres, because the market is trying to find its feet here. Right now we're in a surplus. We were having CBD isolate that was selling for $5,000 3 years ago, and now it's selling for $500. So the market is still trying to find its feet over here. That 2021, we got up to 240,000 acres. That's what they're projecting here in the States, which is good. And then we can ship all over the world. The CBD products here in the United States, because whether you're wherever you are in the world, the U.S. is going to kind of move that market sometimes. And so it's good to understand what's going on here, because these trends could affect how your markets evolve. So as you can see, we're doing a lot of tinctures here, a lot of topicals and capsules, and just only 2% is industrial hemp. That's it. That is going to grow exponentially over the next 5 years. Some of the things with industrial hemp, remember, it's not just about medicine. You can make all these different products with it. Look at your ESGs, your environmental sustainability goals. A lot of those different corporate rules are going to come in and using hemp, because it's a renewable resource, and it's good for the environment. You can make all types of clothing, paper, plastics, lotions, creams, everything. The benefits of doing domestic markets. So if you're in Thailand, you're looking to do domestic markets, it's good in the fact that you don't have to worry about shipping things across borders. Usually is a low barrier to entry. Here, for example, CBD, pretty much anybody can start a CBD company in America, and you can typically ship your product anywhere here in America, and then you can get a high quality typically for a low cost in mature markets. The challenges of the domestic markets is the same thing, is that you can have too much competition. Here, it's so hard to understand how many CBD companies there are. And a guy like me, I've been in the game since 2013. So I get hit up by CBD companies every day looking to market their products. So you can get into an oversupply situation. And then you have to look at what's going to make your product different. So if you're getting approached as an investor and you're like, well, what's going to make this product different that I'm going to invest in? The people who want your money, they should have a good answer. They should really understand that market, and they should be able to differentiate why their product is better than others. The regulation, as you mentioned, as we saw with Thomas, is increasing globally. The novel food there in the UK has really limited the amount of CBD coming in and the amount of product available. And then US right now is working on FDA regulation. It's not there yet, but the FDA is still continuing to try to move forward. And of course, EU GMP manufacturing practices. Now, I will tell you something that's challenging here is we ship product out of South Africa as well as Lesotho, as I mentioned, and we shipped out EU GMP. Well, there's different levels of GMP. You have EU GMP compliant, and then you have EU GMP certified. So compliant is more of a raw material. So if you're shipping crude or bulk flour, you may be able to ship something that's EU GMP compliant and that's not EU GMP certified. So you really have to work with experts on that. You don't want to go it alone. You don't want to be sitting there and sending product to a client and a customer and the product is not right or the product rots. I will tell you this, if you're going to be shipping THC flower or CBD or hemp flower, you really need to make sure that trade route is verified, because if that product sticks in customs, it could all rot and be destroyed. And so you're talking literally millions of dollars that could be ruined. The benefits for international markets for U.S. companies is you get the better quality of product, a lot of the better reputation of product. So, for example, if you're in Thailand and you want to start importing product from the United States, there's a lot of providers here that would love to help you. I can help have companies that, from international destinations bring in and try to find suppliers here in the United States. That's one of the things that we do because it's so difficult to find the right person. As you know, how do you know who to find in foreign countries in a whole new environment? So it's something to where you really need to find and look for people that you can trust and can really give you the true source. And so one of the things in the international market, as we've been talking about, is the regulation keeps evolving every day. Literally every day something changes, and it's exciting and frustrating at the same time. So if you're coming into this industry as an investor, you have to understand the market is going to change rapidly. So you could lose all of your money, but you could make 100 times your money. So that's kind of where we are in the industry, but you have to be ready for change and you have to be able to shift on the fly. You may have to change up your business model fairly quickly in order to meet regulation or in order to advance a great market. And then banking and merchant processing is still a major problem. We've had clients in Australia who tried to ship money out as an investment, and the bank would not allow the transfer. So you just have to make sure, because there's so much stigma attached to cannabis, as we all know, that leaks into other areas of the industry, especially banking and the economic world. And so we're starting to decrease that stigma here in the United States, but it's still taking some time. This is into legal cannabis and THC countries. As you can see, most of that's red. And one thing I can say about Asia is that whatever country, if Thailand starts to move forward and Thailand's going to lead Asia, the number one way to do that is through your law. Okay, you have to have clear law. Let me give you a perfect example. Okay, I was doing a call with some representatives in South Korea, and the problem came up is that I've learned that South Koreans love CBD for cosmetics, which is a great idea. But importing that CBD into Korea South Korea is a very big challenge because they keep changing the rules. So there's not a lot of suppliers or customers or even investors who want to invest until the law gets set, because then markets cannot take off. And we learn this here in the United States because all those different states legalized. Well, we were able to see what happened with the laws that they wrote in every state. We saw which ones were good, which ones were bad, and which ones were okay. Now, this blurry photo gives you a good idea. The only thing I want you to show here is this was updated just a few weeks ago, and there's only 3 states left that are totally 100% illegal. So as you can tell, what you're seeing is on the coast, on the West Coast and the East Coast, they're moving to more a recreational model. And here in the South of the United States in Florida, we're still in that medical mode. And that creates a lot of tension. Of course, we cannot ship THC across state lines. So you have to have silos of businesses in all these different states. So if you want to get involved in the international hemp and CBD market, and a lot of people approach me about that, I entered this space when it was still in its infancy. It's still in its infancy now. I'm actually one of the most followed cannabis professional in the world on LinkedIn. And it's just amazing how quickly that can happen in that respect. So you want to partner with a white label manufacturer if you're looking to bring manufacturing in. For example, I work with American companies who want to get their products into the UK. Well, they have to go through a novel food manufacturer, and vice versa. I find, and our team finds providers here in the United States for European companies who want to bring their products into the States. Same thing if Thailand, the brands there want to come into the States, we help those companies find those markets here in the States. And you want to do investment in medical cannabis and hemp and CBD, you really need to check the regulation. One benefit is the more regulated the industry, typically the higher profitability you're going to have because you're going to have less players in the game. So that's typically what you want to look for. If you want to have a more certainty with a set license through a set government, that is the best way to go, because if you leave it up to an open market, then sometimes you can have too much competition and you can have a lot of illegal product, which can really, really hurt your business. And that's what a lot of we're having in California. And then another thing about your cannabis business is, and to get involved, is you really just got to read. You got to read as much as you can because this changes all the time. This business changes every day. I would continue going to conferences just like the one we're on now, because you get to meet a lot of people. When you can do the face-to-face conferences, those are even better, because then you start to physically meet these people and start to understand how they can help impact your business or whatever project you want to accomplish. And right now, LinkedIn is the leading social media platform for all cannabis, hemp, and CBD. So if you're not on LinkedIn, you really need to get on there, because now for me, about 80 to 90% of my leads come through LinkedIn. And I appreciate everybody who follows me and brings me up to date, because I get so much energy from the LinkedIn feed. Just I'm hoping that you guys get from me, because we are all learning together. And the better we can learn together and work together, the quicker we can make an impact. Yes, and we can make money and have and bring this new industry from its infancy into this global economy. And that's why it's just so exciting. Questions, comments? Well, I do have to tell you that I was very excited to talk. Thank you so much for the opportunity, and I look forward to talking in the future for the next conference. Let's see. So I was able to have a couple extra minutes, which is great. I want to let everybody know that I have a podcast, which is called The Cannabis Report with Michael Patterson. It's on our LinkedIn page. You just go to LinkedIn, which is Michael Patterson, U.S. Cannabis Pharmaceutical Research and Development. I can only have people follow now, because I can't have any. Once you reach 30,000 connections on LinkedIn, they don't let you to have any more connections. So it had to be follow. And I encourage you to reach out to me if you have any questions, any comments, and definitely love to talk to you. And also, last thing I want to let you know is my company is going for a medical cannabis license here in the state of Florida. These licenses, the way it's set up is there are only 22 license groups. And if you win a license, it's unlimited manufacturing, cultivation, processing, and you can open as many stores as you want. And these licenses are selling for $50 million just for the piece of paper once you win. So it's the only market in the entire world that you would see that. And another aside is Florida is the largest medical cannabis market in the world now. We have over 630,000 medical cannabis patients, and it's going up 5,000 patients a month. So it's a very exciting time, and I would encourage you, those of you around the world, look at these American markets, look at what they're going through in these medical states as well as the recreational, because you're going to have some of the same problems, because everybody thinks they know they're going to do their system the exact right way, and they don't want to learn from the mistakes that others have made. So I would encourage you, look at those mistakes that others have made, and I think that would really help you in that respect, and see how so you don't make the same mistakes.